Hello, listeners. This is Jonathan. Take a tour of Washington, D.C.
Day here as well.
In this lesson, you'll learn the different ways to use the phrase have to. We'll listen to a conversation between Sheila and Dave at their apartment.
Sheila and Dave are talking about Sheila's parents. They are coming to visit Washington, D.C. soon.
Sheila and Dave are relaxing and chatting, so they speak very casually with each other.
All right, that's it. Ready?
Set, go!
Oh, man. My parents are coming next weekend. They want me to show them around D.C.
Sheila the tour guide. I like it.
What should we do? What should I show them?
You have to go to the museums. The Smithsonian is superb. And I think no trip to D.C. is complete without a tour of the White House.
Definitely. And I think we have to go to all the presidential monuments. Lincoln, Jefferson, Washington.
Don't forget the memorials for World War II and Vietnam.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about them. What about the Pentagon?
I don't think you have to go there. It's just a big office building.
Yeah, but my dad was in the Navy. I'm pretty sure we do have to.
Fair enough. Also, the cherry blossoms by the Potomac are lovely.
That's true. And my mom said we have to take a stroll on the National Mall.
It would be great to go on a dome tour in the Rotunda, but that's difficult.
I didn't realize that D.C. had such a big tourism industry.
Tourism in Washington, D.C. is a big business. Other than government, tourism plays a huge role in the city's economy as millions of people come each year.
And what exactly do they do there?
There are tons of famous government buildings, and you can tour the wonderful museums, see the famous monuments and memorials, and visit places of power and importance for the U.S. government.
I guess that sounds pretty cool. Do you ever get to meet famous politicians?
Not usually. But you know, certain metro stops are more popular with tourists, and there are sometimes minor conflicts between Washingtonians and tourists when they try and get to work or someplace, but masses of tourists slow them down.
I guess that is the same with every serious city that attracts a lot of tourists.
It must be. Want to take a look at the vocab now?
You bet.
Great, then let's get going.
The first word we shall see is
The Smithsonian.
a group of public and free museums owned and operated by the government in Washington, D.C.
The Smithsonian. The Smithsonian.
Next is
Superb.
excellent, great.
Superb. Superb.
Next we have
Monument.
a building or sculpture built as a memorial to someone or something.
Monument. Monument.
Next is
Memorial.
a sculpture or place remembering a dead person or an event where many people died, such as a war or natural disaster.
Memorial. Memorial.
Next we have
Navy.
the part of the military that works on sea.
Navy. Navy.
Next is
Potomac.
the river that flows by Washington, D.C.
Potomac. Potomac.
Next we have
To take a stroll.
to take a leisurely walk.
To take a stroll. To take a stroll.
Next is
The National Mall.
a large rectangular park in the middle of Washington, D.C., bordered by the Smithsonian Museums, the Capitol, and the Washington Monument.
The National Mall. The National Mall.
Next we have
Rotunda.
a round building, usually with a dome on top.
Rotunda. Rotunda.
Let's examine some of the words and phrases we have from this dialogue.
Sure thing. We have two, and the first is
Potomac, which is the river that flows by Washington, D.C.
in the dialogue, we heard, "Cherry blossoms by the Potomac are lovely." In 1912, the U.S. received a gift of hundreds of cherry blossoms from Japan, and now springtime in Washington, D.C. is popular for tourists as the trees bloom beautifully.
Aw, that sounds beautiful.
It was, and the 100-year anniversary of the gift just went by recently.
It must have been nice.
Yeah, I wish I could have been there. Oh well, let's move on to the next word.
It is rotunda, which means a round building, usually with a dome.
Dave says it would be great to go on a dome tour in the rotunda. In this case, Dave is referring to the rotunda and dome of the Capitol building. Located in the exact middle of Washington, D.C., the Capitol Rotunda's dome offers some of the best views of the city. Unfortunately, only U.S. Congresspeople can give tours of the dome, so most visitors to the city never get to experience it.
Those must be really exciting. I've seen pictures of the building and it looks beautiful.
I'd love to go too. I think especially for Dave and Sheila, it would be exciting.
I bet. Well, that's all of our phrases for this lesson. Let's move on to the grammar. The grammar focus for this lesson is using have to as a modal verb.
Dave says,
You have to go to the museums.
modal verbs are useful words that are essential for sounding natural when writing and speaking.
By choosing correct modals, we can convey the correct level of urgency and necessity. To have is an unusual modal verb because it has a different meaning as to possess.
However, as we can see in the dialogue from this lesson, we can use this modal in the same manner as should, must, or need to. The biggest difference between these modals is their level and tone,
Should is the weakest.
and must and need to are the strongest.
Have to is useful because it's in the middle. We use it when we need to do something, but it's not quite as strict.
Just a quick note. Need to and have to are not true modals because they conjugate like regular verbs, but they function in the same way, so we group them together.
Okay. I hope that satisfied the grammar nerds out there.
I count myself as a grammar nerd, so thank you very much.
Anyhow, when we say have to, we can use it either as an obligation or as a recommendation.
Like if you visited France, I could say, you have to go up the Eiffel Tower. It's beautiful.
That would be a recommendation.
But if I said, I have to go home to do my homework,
That would be an obligation.
let's look at 3 examples from the dialogue. You have to go to the museums. What would that be?
I think a recommendation?
Exactly. What about this one? I don't think you have to go there.
That's kind of tricky. I think still a recommendation.
Yeah, that's right. He's saying that he doesn't recommend that you go to the Pentagon.
I see. Let's hear one more. And my mom said we have to take a stroll on the mall.
What do you think?
Maybe obligation, because her mom wants her to.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Hooray!
All right, folks. Unfortunately, we have to go.
Obligation.
Good.
So that just about concludes this lesson. Thanks for listening. Hope you'll come back soon.
Bye-bye for now.
Oh man, my parents are coming next weekend. They want me to show them around DC.
Sheila the tour guide. I like it.
What should we do? What should I show them?
You have to go to the museums. The Smithsonian is superb, and I think no trip to DC is complete without a tour of the White House.
Definitely. And I think we have to go to all the presidential monuments. Lincoln, Jefferson, Washington.
Don't forget the memorials for World War II and Vietnam.
Oh yeah, I forgot about them. What about the Pentagon?
I don't think you have to go there. It's just a big office building.
Yeah, but my dad was in the Navy. I'm pretty sure we do have to.
Fair enough. Also, the cherry blossoms by the Potomac are lovely.
That's true. And my mom said we have to take a stroll on the National Mall.
It would be great to go on a dome tour in the rotunda, but that's difficult.
Not his store, but his actual client base, 2 miles worth of homes.